Hey guys, I would like you to do some soul searching for me today. I want to talk about the path of least resistance and how it applies to us and our workflow and our creativity. Now, for those of you who don't know, the path of least resistance is you are aiming to get somewhere, and the path of least resistance is the place, the path that is the easiest because there are the least obstacles in the way. When it comes to achieving success in anything, often, the path of least resistance doesn't lead you in that direction. Let me explain. If someone wants to be a composer, they want the quick fix. But the answer you're going to give them is work hard and persevere. That is not the path of least resistance. So why on earth am I talking about it if it doesn't matter? Because sometimes it changes. Sometimes the path of least resistance, the easy route, is looked upon with unnecessary negativity, i.e., sometimes you can get amazing results by doing the least work. So my path of least resistance in my workflow was to not finish my mock-ups and my sketches before sending them to publishers. Which, meant I lost out some publishers, but actually it meant the relationship I had with Vic at Elephant Music flourished because actually he likes being part of the creative process. By me sending me a sketch, he then inputs his producer's opinion. And then it becomes like an organic process. So for me, the path of least resistance was just like letting the track out in some way, shape or form, and then it's taking its own guided process, right? Whereas some people would consider that path, the path of least resistance, the cop-out, the lazy way, the easy way. The reason I ask you to do soul searching is because if you're stuck in any point in your life or career, you have to look at the paths that lay ahead of you. And the reason I speak about the path of least resistance is because you need to establish whether the path of least resistance will actually get you to where you want to be. And it's just called the path of least resistance because it's got a label of the lazy person's route, or it's going to lead you in completely the wrong direction. So Tim Ferriss is a great example of this. He often says, well, how can I achieve those results by doing less? And I am a huge fan of that. I used to work full days when I was writing music, and I found out that actually if I write music for less, I increased my output hugely. I went from doing sort of 6, 8, 10 hours a day to doing 2, 3, 4 hours a day, and my output, at least in its lowest position, maintained. So I was then able to gain those hours during the day. I looked at the path of least resistance and noticed that it would get me to where I wanted quicker. It was the shortcut. And a lot of people dislike the fact that you can get to the same place by doing less because they have chosen the other path. That's their choice. Remember, don't judge yourself by what other people are doing. You are on your own path and you need to determine whether the path of least resistance is going to get you to where you want to be quicker or whether it's going to take you down a different path altogether. It's a very, very weird one. Like for instance, for me, I thought that when I was starting out, I thought I didn't need to hire an accountant, right? I was like, the path of least resistance for me is that I can do the accounts myself. Wrong. And I learnt the hard way that by making a mistake on my tax return and getting a blooming great fine, that I needed an accountant. And actually, once I got the accountant, I realised that that was actually the path of least resistance. I was resisting the easiest path, hiring somebody to do the work for me who knew what they were doing. And that is a consistent pattern in my professional career, is probably the egotistical belief that I can handle everything. But I don't want that. And that's what you need to do. I didn't do that soul searching back then. This was years ago. You need to do that soul searching now, and to establish what is going to get you to where you want to with the least amount of effort. Because effort is energy, and energy is time and process being put into your creativity. So I've made sure that I create sort of 5 to 10 minutes a day to do this. Because I want to, because I love doing it and it's great fun, and I've made sure that I can have time to play my piano. And I did that by noticing the path of least resistance that was going to get me to where I want to be. Now the soul searching you do is this: where do I want to be? And you work backwards from there. If you want to be doing a similar thing to me, then you need to establish how you're going to get there. If you want to be working in a studio recording with orchestras all the time, you need to establish how you're going to get there. If you want to be a professional photographer, I'm flattered you're even watching this or listening to this, you need to establish what paths lay ahead of you. And are you choosing a path that is unnecessarily laden with obstacles? It's a good journaling question. Have fun, guys.